So great to have you back here on News Talk 17 before the hour now. Joining us now here in the studio, the chair of the Fairfax Board of Supervisors, Sharon Bulova. She's with us several times a year. You picked a great day. There's so much going on. Great having you here.
It's great to be here.
Did you watch the debate last night?
Yes.
What did you think?
I watched part of it, actually. I had my own debate.
Did you?
This is an election year, League of Women Voters, but I did get back in time to see, I guess, probably two-thirds of the debate.
Thoughts about any of it? I mean, I'm sure you had to have watched the Republican one, and picking up on the conversation we were having just a second ago. The contrast
was dramatic,
right?
It was dramatic.
How would you characterize it?
I think it was more serious, and I thought it was extremely well done. I thought that the questions and answers were clear and concise. I really thought that Hillary did a very, very good job. I was impressed. She looked good, sounded good, and I really think that it was her night.
Does she reestablish her position atop the field?
I think so. I think so. I think, you know, her numbers have been falling, but I thought that last night she really shone. She was outstanding.
This is an election year in Virginia. This is what it's called an off year election.
Right.
You guys are always going to the polls, it seems, and this year is no exception. The entire assembly is up. And while we know the House of Delegates is firmly in Republican hands, no one expects that to change. The Senate in Virginia has been close, real close, for a long time. And it feels as though Governor McAuliffe's opportunity to get things, pieces of his agenda enacted during the time he has remaining, that's going to be determined to a certain extent by what happens in the next few weeks as folks decide state Senate contests across the Commonwealth.
Eyes are on the General Assembly and especially the Senate race. Also remember that all members of the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors are up for election or re-election. All members of the school board are up for election or re-election. The sheriff is up for election. Constitutional officer Ray Murrow, the Commonwealth attorney. So this is a big year for local and state elections and constitutional officers, and sadly, this is the lowest voter turnout year,
but this
which is unfortunate.
This is an opportunity for us simply to remind people that an election's happening so they can do their homework and make plans to vote on election day. Do you have early voting?
We do, so they can vote. Make sure people vote by November the 3rd, but you can vote right now. So at the Government Center right now, I think it's on the 3rd floor. Actually, it may be in the conference area. You're able to vote right now for all of your candidates.
What issues are dominating the board races?
Budget, and making sure that we have sufficient funding to invest in our quality of life services, making sure that we are maintaining our excellent school system, making sure that we are continuing to have the safest jurisdiction of our size in the United States. We're investing in public safety, our police force. And speaking of police, I know you're interested also in making sure that Fairfax County is as transparent as we possibly can be, making improvements in the way we respond to critical incidents. So these are all bread and butter local issues, and it's important that people come out and vote for their local and state representatives.
It's been a bumpy time, perhaps surprisingly so, coming out of this period of a few months' time where a police-involved shooting and the probe dragged on and was harshly criticized in the Washington Post and perhaps elsewhere, and issues about a video of a death inside the jail. What specifically would you like to see come out of the review? To what extent can and should the county and the agencies, particularly in public safety, but across the board, be more clear in how they operate?
Let me first say that the public and the media were right in being concerned about the length of time that it took for Fairfax County to provide information to the media and to the public. in the case of the John Gere shooting case. And if we could rewind what happened, I think we would handle things in a very different way. We were concerned about providing information that might interfere with a criminal investigation, and that really was a major explanation for some of the reasons for why we were not forthcoming.
And that balancing act is classic. We see that all the time.
That is not easy, and it became complicated when there was a dust-up between the Commonwealth Attorney and our attorneys and the police about the Garrity law and providing information at the same time that there was also an internal investigation of the police officer who was involved. But all that having been said, it was not right for that amount of time to proceed without our providing more information. I established, and the board endorsed, an ad hoc Police Practices Review Commission, and it has been meeting since March and just completed its work last week, or was it this week? Actually, it was this week on Tuesday, and they did a fantastic job of providing recommendations regarding police response to critical incidents and what are some things that can and should change. Some of those changes have already been implemented by the police chief. Transparency, we need to provide more information and do it faster. And so some of those recommendations involve having a civilian PIO in the police department to be able to provide more information more quickly.
Someone with a news media background, perhaps?
Someone with a news media background. Someone who, right now it's a police officer who does a good job, but then the position revolves and another individual provides that service for a while. There needs to be stability.
The test, of course, will be if there is a next time, and we hope there is not, but if there is the default setting, so to speak, putting out everything that can be put out, and then perhaps a timeline for things that can't come immediately but will come in time.
Absolutely. In fact, the chief did a search and found in, I think it's Philadelphia, a model that he is using and has implemented in Fairfax County. So if you go to Fairfax County's website and find police reporting, you will see, going back 10 years, details of incidents that have happened, and that site is the place where newer incidents will also be reported. Many
people have given up their landline. They're using their mobile phone for everything. The county's responding in terms of how you can reach out to 911 in emergency.
We now have text 911. And if for some reason someone is unable to make a call or to be able to talk, if you're disabled, if you are in a location where you're having difficulty with making a telephone or a text or a cell phone call, 911 is an alternative for being able to call and reach emergency help. And
police, fire, ambulance.
Police, fire, ambulance. Voice is best because then you're able to provide in a conversation a little bit more information.
Right.
But text 911 is new, and I think that that's going to make a big difference for a lot of folks who need help and can't make that call.
A quick transportation question for you. There's been a lot of discussion about Interstate 66 inside the Beltway. We've not been able to tackle it yet on the show because of everything that's been going on with the Pope and a whole lot more. But is tolling on I-66 inside the Beltway something that commuters can expect down the road?
I think, first of all, let me just say that there was a time where the federal government used to pay for transportation in a bigger way than they do now. And so finding ways to pay for transportation through tolling is something, unfortunately, that we're having to consider. Remember, right now, people coming into the District of Columbia on I-66, if you are a single occupant in a vehicle, you can't do that during peak hour. But in the future, if this project is implemented, you'll be able to pay a toll, and as a single driver, you will. be able to use those lanes. If you're in a carpool, it would still be free, and with those revenues, that will pay for enhanced bus service to help relieve congestion on I-66 and also make a number of other improvements that would make your commute better.
An issue will follow as time goes on. And we'll see you next time. Sharon Bullitt is head of the Fairfax County Board. Always great having you here. Lots going on as always. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks,
we'll see you
Bruce.
on our next visit. We will step aside. We are back, though, with a program note right after this.
Look.